My beautiful, humble, respectful to minimum wage McDonald's employee.
Like, bitch, you gonna go to jail for fucking giving me a cup of caramel? Polite as fucking nice to these goddamn people at these fast food places. But I ain't gonna lie, like, God forgive me, but I just told that bitch, man, that's why you work here right now, man.
Summrs could easily go mainstream 100,000% if he wanted to. But we're not even sure if he wants to at this point, right? Since Yeat fully blew up and went mainstream around mid to late 2022 when Life came out, but, you know, he was still on his way to being mainstream when Two Alive and Rich Minion came out back in 2022, along with Twisty P being a dickhead and helping Yeat blow up through all the memes and fucking TikToks and shit, right? Summrs has been at the top of the underground since Yeat left. In 2021, he dropped Nothing More, Nothing Less, Fallen Raven in 2022, which is one of my favorite albums by him, if we're gonna be honest. Then Stuck in My Ways, Ghost, and What We Didn't Have. Some of which I vividly remember him begging fans to help it go #1 on the Apple Music charts. Not sure if it was Stuck in My Ways or Ghost though, if I'm gonna be honest. Then Bad Raven in 2024-ish to varying success. The dude has literally been around the 700K-ish to 1.1 million monthly listener mark for years. And it sucks seeing an artist that you actually like with that much potential that just fucking refuses to just push to the next level, right? I know what you're gonna say. Yeah, he's rich, whatever. He's providing for his family. He's doing the legs, blah, 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 blah. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. Now, say, you know, I'm twerking on the tip, tell me to go take a plan B, but I'm just spitting, bro. Damn near every song collab the nigga has done a feature with is with other rappers in the same exact fucking lane as them, bro. If not extremely similar. Guess everyone he's done a feature with for the past handful of years. I'll give you 2 seconds to go guess. Pause the video. Autumn. Kankan. Plaqueboymax, which also doesn't really count, but kind of does. And Izaya, who also doesn't really count. That's it. Even Youngboy does more features than this nigga, bro. Like, I genuinely don't know if he just wants to do his stuff with whoever he wants to, whenever he feels like it, and whenever he wants to, or just wants to stay comfortable in music, right? Which most likely isn't really the case necessarily, because he dropped Ghost, which was a bit of a shift from like the normal music that he makes, if we're gonna be honest. But obviously, you know, music isn't a solo venture. You know, you gotta explore working with other engineers, producers, artists of different genres too, and shit like that. Like, genuinely, Summrs is super talented, right? But he just doesn't play the music industry game the right way, you know? And when I say the right way, I don't mean, you know, you gotta kiss everyone's ass and work with people you hate. I mean collab, you know, do the tours, do the shows, do some interviews and other shit to keep getting out here and there. And he kind of just started like last year doing, you know, the in the booths and a few more interviews and shit. But he just needs to keep building his core audience. Like, dude, even net spend, that little blonde dude is pretty much gapping him in popularity, if not exactly where he is. And he just came out last fucking year, dude. Netspend is playing the game that Summrs isn't. And I'm not even a Netspend fan. I don't even like the dude. I like maybe 2 or 3 songs by him, if anything. I think his music is dookie butt, and he doesn't respect rap as a genre. I like maybe, you know, 2 or 3 songs, but my point still stands at the end of the day. You can think otherwise, but that's how I feel. He doesn't tour anymore. He does maybe a handful of shows every so often, mostly in Texas from what I've seen. Granted, you know, the Homicide Gang concert assault was like, I want to say a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. Rarely does the interviews, barely does collabs, barely does any features, barely also gets features. And he basically does what Cardi used to do with the whole mysterious aura shit. But he's just nowhere near as big as Cardi, respectfully. And it doesn't work for him, right? And like on top of that too, like Summrs, I mean, I wouldn't say he loves to beef. He's not like a Jace where he just does nothing but just fucking troll and beef with everybody and have like a fucking rogues gallery like Batman of ops, of Twitter ops and shit. But I mean, he still did get into a lot of beefs in the underground, and obviously the underground for anything isn't gonna be the biggest. So I mean, yeah, you know, not really making it the best situation for himself per se, but I mean, it definitely could be worse. Once again, he still is at the top of the underground and he can get out pretty much whenever he feels like it. But I mean, still kind of having not the greatest of relationships with other people like Slay World and, you know, other shit like that definitely doesn't help. But he does still have Yeat. At least